Welcome to the Absurdly Nerd Video Game Awards, or the Nerdies.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
With me, I have the top 10 games of the year according to Absurdly Nerd. We all did our own lists and we combined them. We're also going to give away 6 awards for random categories, various categories. And those will be each of our own favorite among those categories. Or in the case of our first category, not our favorite. Something that made us sad. The biggest disappointment of 2022.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first on their disappointment?
Shots.
I will go first on that one. And mine is one that I hyped up on camera, so now it's forever cemented out there.
Should I put it up right now?
Yeah, you should.
That's going to piss Eric off, but I think Gotham Knights is going to bomb.
Okay, if the Metacritic is below 70, then I'm calling that a bomb.
I'm going to say it's going to be over 80.
Over 80?
Yeah,
It's a face-off.
Sure.
It's going to be below.
Write it down because I want to see if I'm right. I'm going to say 83.
Oh my God. I'm thinking 60s.
Ain't no way. There's no way.
I think there's way.
There's definitely a
If it
way.
comes out and just is trash.
I think it could be like a 68 type of game.
Gotham Knights was a burning pile of trash.
I'm so glad you said that.
It wasn't worth the $70.
Oh, God, yeah. It was,
I think I got $1 out of it. Of fun.
all it did was lessen your opinion of games.
I don't
like
know
it.
why Arkham Knight looks better than Gotham Knights.
Exactly.
7 years
exactly.
earlier.
Should
Or
not
6
be
years
that
earlier.
way.
What a piece of shit game Gotham Knights is.
Yeah, I remember you're being really diplomatic about it the week after, and now it's like set in. You're like, no, that game burned me. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
like,
really did burn
yeah,
you.
because
Especially
it
someone-
should have been good.
Especially someone who like
defended that.
touted it, defended it.
I
was
said
like,
at one point that it would be better than the Suicide Squad game.
You did.
Yeah,
You
you
did.
did.
You told me that multiple times.
I think what we've learned this year is AAA doesn't mean AAA. The studio is
Yeah.
what matters.
Yeah.
It always is about the studio.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
My biggest disappointment is Saints Row. I was going to say Gotham Knights, but I knew Eric was going to say it. So I said Saints Row because personally I love Saints Row as a trilogy. I mean, as a series.
Let's say it's a trilogy and just forget that.
Yeah, honestly, the all the games are fine except for 2, and 2 is great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the rest,
One was original.
I didn't play one.
Well, I mean,
it was Grand Theft Auto
it
ripoff,
took the
but
idea
it was
and made it its own. Yeah, it
Yeah.
did good.
Well,
But-
I always liked that series because it was more fun. Like,
Yeah, it was
well,
more
it didn't
fun.
take itself as seriously as Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
That's true.
But so anyway, Saints Row, I had to temper my expectations. Like personally, I was more disappointed in Gotham Knights because I was pumped for it.
Yeah.
But and it also, as we got closer and closer to Saints Row, I was like, this game is not going to be good.
Yeah, you kind of knew it.
Like, oh, this is not going to be good the way it looks. I'm like, it's not going to be original. They're not going to have like. And then I played it, and I was like, maybe they'll stick with the comedy. They don't. They don't pull. They don't take any risks.
Did you
with-
I heard
laugh?
that's the worst part of it.
Did you laugh any?
At the very end. At the very end, he's like, I'll kill anybody that doesn't tell me where this guy is. And then one guy's like, hey, I'll tell you. And that was the funniest part. But everything else sucked ass.
Yeah, the writing's not good. It's not
It's-
the same company that did the original.
It's not the same company.
That's why I said the game all along. I said this game's not going to be fun. Like, we're not going to be good. I didn't say it wouldn't be fun. I knew the gameplay.
It
at
still
its core
has
could
its
be fun.
yeah. It's still like the gameplay itself is still fun at some times. But there was the coolest part was going to the island and murdering everybody, and you can't do that but once.
Really?
There's like a whole game show set up on an island where you murder people.
That's cool.
And I'm like,
Just give
that's
me
cool.
that game. I
It's
just
one
want that
mission. That's it.
Well, my most
You do have that game.
disappointing-
It's called The Club.
Oh, that was a good game. I want that. Give me
Great
that.
game.
But my most disappointed game is a game I just beat, and I look forward to it. It's an Xbox exclusive, and it's from one of my favorite. Well, someone that worked on one of my favorite games, Limbo, Somerville. I don't even know what is wrong with it for me. It's just not fun at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty well put together. There are some technical issues in there that weren't present in their other games and the actual Playdead games. But at the end of the day, I think it is trying to be more cinematic, and the puzzles are just there to slow you down so you don't beat it in an hour, because that's all there really is to it.
Yeah.
Well, I was more excited for this one than I was Playdead's next game. Like,
Yeah.
Before the
It does look weird. Like
Yeah.
the Playdead's doesn't look like a Playdead game. The
No.
next one, but I know it's going to be better.
Yeah.
It's going to be
So
more fun.
I played an hour of this, and I got to a puzzle that I couldn't figure out immediately, and I was like, "There's nothing to this game. I don't understand what's going on."
It's a minimalist game.
It's
for sure.
it's definitely like like I was hearing you guys talk about last week, like you can do that, like Eric said, with Limbo and Inside. You can do that because the story is it's simple, but it's also like vague. You make it up as you go. This one is like, it's kind of like your kid, your son, and your wife, fucking dog, and then aliens.
Well, they're telling a whole
what the fuck are we supposed to do with this shit?
They're telling a bigger than Signs level story without saying a word.
Signs,
They never say a word, and
Watch it
like half of the game is fine with that. Like you get the gist of what's going on. The second half of the game, they needed words. They needed to tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of like abstract thoughts, but they had a very clear plot in their mind, but they didn't convey it through the things that were shown to you.
It was just like these fucking purple shits was falling from the sky, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And
Also,
then you can't run.
It feels sluggish. I'm tired of this style of Alien where it's like, metallic, like put together through an energy. It's not actually organic. It's not like, give me the fucking old school big head,
Mars Attacks.
Alien.
Mars
Attacks.
Destroy all humans, alien.
It's like, I am fine with that. And they're still scary.
Yeah.
You know what's not scary? Fucking cat aliens made out of fucking metal. Like, that's not scary or fun.
Is that what they ended up being?
That's what the ones that would chase you down, like the chase sequences were like these fucking cat type things. Cat with the tail, like a big, it's like a lizard cat. I don't know. Anyway,
but also, don't you become an alien?
Not really. You get a power.
I haven't touched it.
You get a power that lets you do all the puzzles. Anyway, I don't recommend it. But if you really just want a story, like okay, the positive with this game is that it really had me thinking about space and aliens, and it has that vibe of Signs. But at the end of the day, it didn't do the other things it needed to do, and it just milked the time there. Yeah.
I don't. We need the visual.
That was milking, dude.
But moving on.
That's how you milk things.
The first entries on our list.
Cows.
On our top 10 games of 2022. Number 10 was a big game. And it's also a tie because with a small game. It's the only tie on the list. Since this was 10 and 11, I wanted to put them together. They did tie on points. I didn't want to break the tie. Horizon Forbidden West. Number 10. Yeah, you're the only one that had it.
Yeah,
the one it tied with is I was the only one that had it, and that's TinyKin. And that's why I left them both there, because I was like, we both love those games.
Yeah, I think I had it 5 or 6, and it just like, it started out so high this year, but the more I get away from it, I really did enjoy this game.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's other games that were better.
It's like you guys said last week. It's one of those games, and I feel this way with most Ubisoft games. Yeah, it's you play it, you have a fun time, but you don't remember it.
Right.
It's like
it's very much an Ubisoft game.
It's like in Ocean's 13 when they send Matt Damon in to be to psych everybody out.
Yeah.
You got to be good enough to be competent, but you got to be forgetful. You got to be nice, not to be rude, but then they got to immediately forget about you.
Yeah.
And that's
what
what
you don't want to do
is.
that in games.
No, you don't want to do that in games.
The reason I like it so much is the traversal combat stuff like that. The story could care less. Aloy could care less. Like I don't care.
Yeah,
Aloy is surprisingly not fun, like as a character.
No,
I don't know why.
She's bland.
Like Ashley Birch is amazing. I love
her. It's not her fault.
No,
it's
just they wrote her so dry and
it's
like,
so bland.
Dumb.
Everybody around her is a better character.
Yeah,
and it's also like she's kind of naive,
she
should not be naive.
Well,
because she knows. Yeah. Especially what happened in the first one. She's like naive as fuck.
The first one you can get away with being naive.
Yeah, because
she's literally going into the world for the first time.
And then you also found out you have technology no one else has. You have knowledge that no one else has, and you're still naive as fuck.
But this one clicked with me when the first one didn't, and I do enjoy it for that. Just like the exploring the world was fun, and it was beautiful.
They're fantastic made games. Guerrilla is an awesome studio. It's just something, it doesn't reach the level of some of these other games. Like, in no way is it bad, but in no way is it better than the best games. You know, like there's nothing that stands out to me that I'm like, oh yeah, I like this better than Ghost of Tsushima or Elden Ring or God of War. You know, like it's not above anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
At any point.
And its release date did hurt it. Like not even if, like it doesn't change the fact of the game, but most people made a choice to not. You know.
Yeah.
But TinyKin, what I liked about it was a old school collectathon kind of like Banjo, like.
Through and through.
Yeah.
There's a slight story there with the characters you talk to, but this game is all about platforming goodness and just having fun in this cool tiny world. Like, I mean, it's a regular sized world, tiny people, and like the way the level design is in that game is fantastic. And I hope that's the way Pikmin feels to me. like Pikmin 4. Is that what it's going to be?
Yep.
Yeah, I hope it lands like this game did, because at the end of the day, the only reason this game wasn't like number 3 for me on my list is I don't have any connection to the characters or anything. Yeah. And they don't do that in the game. They don't really make me care about who I'm playing. Like, it's just more I'm doing these little mini side quests over and over, and I enjoy it.
But the little story beats that I did find were pretty interesting, like the worshiping roaches and stuff, the beetles and all that.
Yeah, all of it is cool. None of it was substantial.
Yeah, I like the world building in it.
Yeah, and all of the writing is really witty. Yeah. Like, they have good puns and everything. Like, I can't recommend this game enough because I feel like a lot of people skipped it. It came out during a lot of other stuff coming out, but it's on Game Pass, and I think if you just are looking to kill some time at the very least, this game is awesome for that. But moving on to number 9, As Dusk Falls.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, Cole didn't have it. You didn't play this, did you, Cole?
No, I didn't play it.
You need to. It's on Game Pass.
It's so good. Like,
I'll play it. I mean,
it takes some getting used to because like the stop motion stuff is like a little jarring at first.
I didn't like it in the trailers. I was like, I'm not gonna like this game. And then we started it, and I love the art style.
Almost comic book like.
Yeah, but it's wild that you stay engrossed in something that is just that.
That's not moving at all.
Yeah. Right. It's like they do that slight little panning around the picture, and then it'll transition when you click something into another thing. But it feels like you're watching a movie. Like the whole time I was engrossed in it, like I was watching a movie.
I do feel like it lulled a little bit after the big climax of the hotel, like the first hour or so after that. I was
the first half of this game was like super on point, and everything's tense, and it feels like a movie.
I feel like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and then after that, movie part of it was over. It was like a lot of resolution.
And it was wrapping up,
Right, but I didn't feel like it was in resolution. Like, it should have been at resolution stage yet. Yeah. That's why it's as low as it is for me. It would have been higher because I do think narratively and the way that you make decisions in this game and feeling like you're impacting the game, I don't know if it's ever been done better, in my opinion. Like, most games, I know I'm on a track, and it's like, this is it's a tree branching off to another thing. And this one, I was like, there really is like 150 different things.
And when it showed you, there's entire parts of this game you can miss.
You're like, wait, I didn't even know you could do this. And you want to go back and replay that. And we did restart it. But that's another knock on it, though, is when you restart it, it's like, you kind of see through that a little bit, I guess I'll say.
There's not as much replayability.
Right, but they did a really good job of making you think there was in the first part. But most people aren't going to replay the game. But great game, and I highly recommend this one.
Mm-hmm.
But our next individual awards, is the biggest surprise. I think that game transitions us well into the biggest surprise. What would you say was your biggest surprise game of the year?
Come back to me.
Okay.
I just want to see what y'all say first because I have a couple.
Yeah. My biggest surprise of the year, and I'll say it's a game that I didn't put like hundreds of hours in, but when I did play of it, I was pleasantly surprised, and it's Weird West.
Oh, yeah.
When you did the RPG, is it the best RPG ever? And I was like, this motherfucker tripping, bro. And I went back and I played it, and it's fun as shit.
Yeah.
It's fun, dude. Even like when you die and you're like, damn.
It's got really good gameplay, and it's very unique in its storytelling. I think it's a very concise RPG that doesn't get in the way of itself. Some RPGs are so obtuse, like Wasteland, like it's doing too much.
Yeah.
That's what I think, huh?
I said, now you're being cute.
I cannot say the word obtuse.
No, I'll say it.
But I will say that game didn't end up making my top 10. It's in my it's in my honorable mentions for sure.
Yeah.
But I would say my biggest surprise of the year would have to be Return to Monkey Island. Because I thought, honestly, when they showed this game the first time, I was like, this is junk. This is just them cashing in. But it is like, I didn't play the originals. I know how precious they are to so many people.
I've always heard about them, and I know very little of that series. But I watched you play Return a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah,
like the storytelling is good.
Yeah, it's got this really cool Saturday morning cartoon vibe about it, and nothing takes itself too seriously. Excuse me.
Is last name Threepwood?
Yeah. See, I don't know all of the story behind that. There is a little bit of like if you miss the original, they're doing a lot of fan service in this early part of the game that I've played. But the voice acting, and there's so many lines in this game. Like, it's a lot of times these point and click games become disconnected because you're clicking on something. It's like, nope, not that one. Like you get into that, but this one feels like they acknowledge that you've already clicked on it, and they reply to you in a good way to where it's not annoying or immersion breaking. Like, I really, really like this game, and I didn't expect to at all. That's why it's my biggest surprise.
Can I cheat and have 2?
Go for it. I like it.
So both of these are kind of similar, where they took something Nintendo did and made it really good. Yeah. And Multiversus is one of them, with the combat feeling as good as it does. Like, I've played Nickelodeon Brawl, and it just doesn't have a good feeling to it.
Worried about it being that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
valid.
They put the time in to get voice acting and stages, and like it feels authentic. Like these characters feel like authentic, like to the.
They got Kevin Conroy to voice Batman.
Yeah,
right?
So
and then
he's not gonna get
it's a bummer.
But so that one for sure, because that was a surprise, and I would say Disney Dreamlight for taking what I love about Animal Crossing and then making it with Disney characters and stuff, and I just enjoyed that.
Wouldn't have expected it to be as good as it is. For sure.
And you really don't like, it's not money grabby like I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but. That's interesting that you brought up Multiversus, because number 8 on our list is Multiversus. And I was the only one that had it. I had it at number 3 on my list.
It teetered around my list.
Yeah, I figured. I thought for a second, I was like, he forgot it. Like, he's going to be like, oh, crap, I forgot this game.
It was a hard year. It was a very hard year.
I mean, it was a very competitive, like top or bottom 8 in the top 10. But yeah, no, it was a very good year for games. And this game, I probably played the most this year of any game. And I played a lot of Elden Ring. I played 150 hours of Elden Ring. But I think I've put over 200 hours into Multiversus.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and
you played online?
Those things,
it's pretty fun online.
Is it?
Yeah, it's infuriating. But
me and Jonathan we played it together online. So
yeah,
that's the one thing I don't like. That doesn't. It's kind of sorry to interrupt you, but it's like one of the things that throws me off. That's why I can never put a fighting game or a racing game besides Forza Horizon.
Does it stress you out that it's 1v1?
No, it stresses me out that it's online. That like, so there's only so many races. There's only so many characters to unlock. There's only so many fights you can do. There's only so much story you can do. You have to eventually, to get your full money's worth on the game, is go online, and I just don't like being forced to play.
Well, on this one, you don't have to play online.
I know you don't,
but
you can play bots and shit.
It doesn't feel like you're playing. Like it doesn't like. I don't know. The matches were fun enough online where I wasn't stressed out.
Yeah, okay.
Like Mortal Kombat, you get against people that just whoop your ass, and it's not fun. But there's enough chance and stuff going on.
I still have fun
in Multiversus.
No one's that much better than me in Multiversus. But I will say I do get stressed out because every time you lose, you see that ranking go down. And I'm like, that's the thing. The only thing to chase in that game is the ranking and then like cosmetics.
Yeah.
And it's like if my ranking gets under. If I'm not in the top million, why am I playing this game? Like that's what happened.
You were ranked pretty high for a while, weren't you?
On some of like Shaggy, I was in the top 50,000, which was pretty good. I don't know if that's all around or on Xbox. Let's see. Shaggy's a beast. Anyway, great game, and I hope it makes a big comeback. Like not that it's like died, but from where it was, it's come down a lot.
I haven't played it since they had.
I think it's just because it's the end of the.
I think so.
End of the year, and God of War came out.
Yeah, and college.
No offense to Dwayne the Rock, but when they announced Blackout, I just wasn't interested. Like, I don't care.
I mean, I'm interested in playing it. Like, that's the thing about this game. I'm excited for every character because it's like a whole new fighting style. They did so good with the fighting styles, man. I hope.
I'm ready for them to add Lord Varys. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, Gandalf is still in limbo, like he's supposed to be in there.
Gandalf.
I hope they fix some of the microtransaction stuff. Like they need to do a better.
It's a little high, yeah.
Anyway,
a little high like me.
Number 7, and probably the biggest surprise on this whole thing. Nobody Saves the World.
Oh, dang.
Number 7.
Holy crap.
Good. I love this game, dude.
I did not expect it to be this high. I expected it to be on the list because I liked it. I
just now played it last month a little bit. Yeah. I didn't play much, so. I mean, I liked it.
I said all along that I didn't know if it was your type of game. I figured me and Cole would be more into it. But, I mean, I don't think you hated it or anything.
No, I enjoyed it.
But I'll give a little bit of a spoiler with this one because I think of this alongside Cult of the Lamb. And Cult of the Lamb didn't make it.
I didn't have it on mine.
What?
Yeah. I think a lot of people would be surprised by Nobody Saves the World topping that game because they're kind of similar vibes.
I love Cult of the Lamb. It doesn't do anything that it tries to do better than, like,
anything it's
else.
copying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Nobody Saves the World is like, for me as a person who doesn't play those type of games, immediately love the art style. I love that you have to switch between each character. Like Nobody Saves the World was probably one of my biggest surprises too.
Yeah.
But it's just when you told me to play it, I haven't really talked about it a whole lot just because I kind of want to hold it.
Right.
Like I love that game, man. That game is so fun.
It's unabashedly fun, and
it's not stressful at all.
No, and it's unabashedly itself too.
Yeah, and this is the hook of the game to me is every time you get a new power up, you know there's another new power up, and you know how different that one was from the last.
Yeah.
And constantly you're like, holy crap, what could it end up being by the end of the game? Like, what could I could play as so many different things.
Yeah.
I played as an egg.
Yeah.
A freaking egg and rolled around.
I just also like how you could level up your knight to get this guy, or you can go play the ranger and level her up to get this person. And it's totally different characters, but you wouldn't get to play. I mean, eventually you'll have to get these characters if you want to.
There's
collect
certain
everything
areas
and go to certain areas, but it's just fun how you can, pick and choose which characters you play as first. So it's fun. It's fun as shit.
I think this year has taught me that my favorite thing as a gamer is checking off lists. Like, I love that about this game. Like, there's constantly something you can go to the challenge section and see that, if I can play this character I don't like that much, but I can do this challenge real quick and get enough to, upgrade something, and maybe I'll like it more. And like, there's always something like to be accomplished.
Yeah, even if you don't like this character, you can
benefit from playing
to get the other person.
Right, yeah.
It's been my biggest draw to Call of Duty is getting the little leveling up they do with the gun skins and all that.
Yeah,
right.
and the guns. And
I should have said that about TinyKin, is like just seeing the number go up towards completion is like, it feels great. I don't like a game where it's like abstract. Like, that's why Summerville didn't hit for me, because it was like, I got to the end, but I didn't really see my progress. I just ran through the level. Yeah. But yeah, no, I strongly recommend Nobody Saves the World if you love like 2D. Like, I keep saying that it feels like a mobile game, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in like a pick up and play kind of way. Yeah. Like, it's simple, but it really connects with you too. I don't know.
Like, I've been juggling these last couple of weeks. I've been juggling Call of Duty and God of War. Yeah. And when you play Call of Duty a lot, you get on God of War. It's totally different controller scheme. But I could jump into Nobody Saves the World and not worry and just be fine with what I'm doing. Yeah. Like, there may be a second of, this button does this, but it's not, like you said, it's super easy, super accessible.
Yeah. But there are the areas where it gets challenging, or it at least makes you consider which character you need to be playing.
Yeah, but also I'm not a hard game player, and that game just not really.
Right. Yeah. Not really. I like that for it. Moving on to the next award, favorite indie. That transitions well from Nobody Saves the World. So, what would you say is your favorite indie, Eric?
My favorite indie this year was Sifu. Wasn't expecting, like, I loved the way it looked in the trailers and stuff, but wasn't expecting to really love that game. And I got addicted just to trying to beat my own scores and platinum it and all. Get to the very end with a young age and all that. And I enjoyed every minute I played. Like, it was frustrating. It's a frustrating ass game, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
I just remember when it first came out, I saw you playing it, and you were just like, it was like watching you slam your head against the wall. Yeah. You were dying a lot, and then I came back like the next weekend, and you had beat the game at like the lowest health, at the lowest age. I was like, oh shit, and then watching you play the last level, I was like, holy fuck, he's so much better at this.
That is that's that Dark Souls type thing where, you just by the end of it, you're like, wow, I struggled so hard early on. Like, it doesn't take it easy on you early on.
And then, spoiler alert, like, if you beat the bosses, you make it through the end of the game, and then you beat it, and you're like, oh, that's not the real ending. You have to spare the bosses.
Yeah.
So then you have to go right back through and do it all again. You're like, holy shit.
But we won't dwell on this one too much, because I feel like we'll talk about these games more. Would you say Nobody Saves the World was your favorite indie?
Yeah, that was my favorite indie.
Well, my favorite was TinyKin, but I'm going to go ahead and say my second favorite by transitioning into number 6, and that is a game we played all the way through together on stream.
Oh, God.
MADiSON? Yeah.
I did not think of MADiSON as being an indie, but it was.
Yeah, one man mostly made that game.
I'm so glad this made our list.
I love that game.
Yeah.
Like,
that game is like one of the scariest games I've played.
Of us laughing and screaming and carrying on. It's a actually good game. Like a very well made horror game.
Yes, it's very well made. I don't like horror games, but of course I was playing with you guys, so I had to trudge through this thing. But it was so fun, and it did affect me. Like, I was driving home at night, and I was like, dude, I don't like that I can't see in my back seat right now. I don't like that, dude.
And it's a great feeling with it.
I'm going to assume
what it should be trying to accomplish.
The quarry didn't make the list or our list, and it's crazy because you think of that game having a AAA budget and all that, and
all the actors.
And I think MADiSON is a better game on every front.
Yeah, I think so.
At the end of the day, that game is way more original.
voice acting in
voice acting in MADiSON is horrible.
Oh, but they, from the start, say you can turn it off, and
Yeah.
I understand. Like he did his own voice acting, the guy that made the game.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm not going to talk shit about him then.
Yeah.
Because that was.
I don't remember how many people made it. Like, I mean, obviously he didn't do every single thing in that game.
Yeah.
but he didn't
play the old
the
man.
main one.
He didn't play the old man. The doctor. Get out of the house.
Yeah, he didn't do that. But I think at the
Don't
end of the
let
day,
your son be taken.
the
Too
reason
late.
this game is here and the Quarry is not is the Quarry was cookie cutter. I mean, even the plot we've seen before.
Did you like Until Dawn? Well, here's a camp setting for it.
Right, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not as good.
No.
Like
Yeah.
this game took the picture
Rotate.
mechanic was awesome. Like everything
Oh, yeah.
was really just
picture-
well designed.
And I will say this Balloonies was so terrifying. It's one of the my scariest moments in games.
The music, good gosh, that was awful,
Yeah.
man.
It was bad.
It was a good mechanic too. Like I think it was mostly predetermined.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a little bit of if you took your time, he would, come.
It
on
was a
time.
good.
The
Like,
way it
it
mixes
was
up
stressful, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
But
well done.
what added stress to it you could hear him coming, and they switched the whole layout. So this game where you've been walking the same layout for like 3 hours, suddenly switched up.
Yeah,
on
all
you.
of a sudden.
Cole
it's
did the
not
Blue
same
Knee section, right? I know we stressed him out because me and you were screaming.
house.
dude.
Go.
Yeah.
And then he started winding the thing. I
was like, I don't wanna
He was
do-
right there. And we were like, no.
I was shaking. I took a picture, and then it takes a minute for it to
Yeah, you
cancel
missed
out.
him. You
Yeah,
missed him
I was like, how do
with
you
the
miss
camera.
him? I was like, I'm not done.
Oh, it was so good though. Yeah. Check out that game. We're gonna keep pushing that game.
Yeah, that's
MADiSON was
great.
the shit. MADiSON was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, great. But moving on to number 5.
Halfway there.
And it was
Halfway there, halfway
number 5 was Eric's favorite indie, Sifu.
Oh yes, dude, that's
That's
such
a good spot for
Yeah,
it.
it's a good game, and it's not for everybody, and it's it's hard to pick up, but there's enough there that I loved it, and I platinumed it, and that is one of the most fun I've had. Like a fight that game, that style is not even for me, but I loved that.
So, yeah, on paper, this style of game is like I loved Absolver. They made Absolver; it was great. And on paper, this game is my game. I didn't get to play a whole lot of it, but what I did play of it, I loved it. And then watching you play it was amazing. I like how every level changes. I like how, you go to this level, you're in an elevator, you think you're supposed to go up. Spoiler alert, bitch, you're supposed to go down. Like, you find that out as you go. And
Yeah.
like
It doesn't hold
it
your hand
reminded
at
me
all.
of that Sherlock Holmes scene when because we played that same scenario so many times where he knows exactly what he's going to do, and that's how it felt. Like I knew in each room what I was going to do. Like when you got to that point, I was
who you go for first. You're going to
yeah.
pick up this bat after you knock this guy out.
It's wild that game was so successful I mean, it's not a Groundhog Day game, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of games, I complain about that. Oh, doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But you feel so fluid in what you're doing that you're okay with replaying the section. You know?
Yeah.
Like it does suck when you die and you're like, oh, I'm older in the next section. Like it's setting you back in the long run, but I don't mind playing through what I already did because it feels really good. I unfortunately didn't end up beating this game. I plan on playing it next year.
and it's just now got picked up for an adaptation. So from the John Wick crew.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Perfect combination of things. This game reminds me, I won't stick on this long, but when I was growing up, there was a very influential Bruce Lee game. Not a good game. It was influential on me and nobody else. And it was a beat 'em up.
Jet Li game too.
Really? I never played that
No,
one.
I'm thinking of your game.
This was like Fist of the Dragon or something like that.
Hold on, I know what you're talking about.
I had to look it up.
Was it
and
on
show y'all.
GameCube?
No. Around that time.
Yeah.
Something like that. Definitely original Xbox. And it wasn't a good game, but it was like my first beat 'em up.
Yeah.
And I adored it. And this is like that, but so much better. Like polished, pristine Bruce Lee game, basically. That's what you're getting. And that's why I really did like what I did get to play of it. But moving on to number 4. And I have to make sure I'm right. Oh, actually, no. Moving on to favorite music. And that'll transition us into number 4. What would you say is your... No, I'm waiting on you.
Yeah.
What's my favorite?
Yeah. Favorite video game music this year?
I want somebody to take one of mine, so I don't have 2 on my chest.
I think my favorite video game music was Elden Ring, probably.
Good, that's one of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elden Ring has obviously
It's engrossing.
Yeah.
From the title sequence alone, that
Yeah.
music is
it's
the
lit.
shit.
as
It's
It's
so
in
good.
your face, but it's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
It puts you in that zone of I'm about to get into something epic. you know?
Yeah.
And throughout the game, no matter what, and it wasn't like redundant at any point.
Yeah, exactly.
It felt like it changed at the right times. Like every area had its own thing. Every big boss. Like there's so much music to create.
It really is. It really is. Like you just think like the orchestra was probably fucking tired as shit.
Oh yeah.
Like how long did they have to like compose music?
Right. Yeah, dude. Constantly.
Yeah.
Going. But I feel like they were so proud of it, and that's
you should
thing
be
with this game.
Yeah.
Like that's one. We'll get to that later, I'm sure. But they got rewarded so well that I feel like everything from now on with FromSoft games is going to keep going up.
Yeah.
Because when they had that success of Elden Ring, they gave out all those bonuses, and because you're talking about them working so hard, I was like, they got so rewarded because this company is respectable and pays.
And I'm glad
they're
that
worth.
they did that because not all the bigger companies are doing that.
Activision would not do that.
No.
And it's also like happy employees and make great games.
Right.
Yeah.
Happy employees put their hardest work into, and that's what you want, and that's what you got from Elden Ring.
Yeah,
it's what you got from God of War 2.
You'll keep getting that kind of production.
Exactly. I just love that games are getting better and better because it raises the level every time.
Oh yeah, the bars.
Like a couple weeks ago, Eric said, I don't know where games go from this, and I just thought it can only get better.
Yeah.
I mean, they could obviously are going to do shitty games.
Gotham Knights.
Yeah, but like the level of high quality is going to get raised every year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just go off the beaten path and change it up here. I think we all had the same top two. Elden Ring's my number one.
Yeah.
My number two is probably your number one. So go ahead.
Kirby.
Yes.
Yes. That music is fantastic.
It is just so joyful.
Yeah.
Just so
Damn.
delightful.
I enjoy
That
it.
is not who I thought you guys were going to say.
Really?
What'd
What'd
you
I
you
thought
say?
you were going to say God of War.
God of War
It's good.
It's good, but it ain't like original to me.
And it's not. Yeah. It doesn't.
Kirby is great, though. Kirby's music, like I said, fantastic.
Oh, the
Forever.
opening where it's just like the cutscene of the driving and the actual song plays, and I was like, "Oh, this is."
When
really
the
good.
anime kicked in, I was like, "Oh, this is amazing."
Throughout it keeps up that music of just every new world and stuff has such good music.
It's a perfect encapsulation of like what Nintendo makes you feel.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing that, the visuals and the music. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this is number 4 on our list.
Okay.
Kirby, number 4. And yeah, we'll go ahead and go into a broader thing, but the music is a big part of that game, and the adventure of that game, and the combat is actually really good.
Yeah.
Like it's wild for a game like that to have like such diverse combat.
I wasn't a huge Kirby fan before this. Mostly, I used him in Smash and stuff like that. But the games, I've never
They weren't very good.
No,
Not since.
and so this one I really loved, and I hope the art, like I hope they keep this style of game for Kirby, like the 3D kind of. I mean, do 2Ds too, kind of like Mario. Do a little
doing
both.
good because the last
Yeah.
ones they've done have been garbage. They haven't been really good since like Dreamland.
Yeah.
Those were the last really good Kirby's. Other than that, they were phoning it in. They're like, we got a mascot. We're just going to keep using it.
Yeah.
This is the first one. It's like, hey, let's make something special for Kirby.
Yes. I love this shit. I didn't play Kirby, but I love that it's high on our list because from what you guys have said and from what I've seen, it deserves it, man. Like it works. They worked their ass off. They made and Nintendo has a plethora of mascots that go unused, and I'm so happy to see someone other than Zelda and Mario. Which, don't get me wrong, Mario and Zelda are fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's just like you have so many.
Right.
You have so many.
Don't just
And
rest on
yes,
it.
and Kirby has as someone who doesn't play Nintendo games, I knew who Kirby was, but I'm just so glad this is high on our list because
Well, it adds like
it's
I think
bad time.
like especially for you as the resident Nintendo guy of this, it's like all of a sudden it's not just Mario and Zelda. It's like, hey, there could be more if they get Donkey Kong back on track. It's like we could get stuff every year.
In a year that I've been really down on the Switch this year. Like this sticks out for like me.
Right.
I loved the time I spent with this game.
Yeah, it's definitely. There's no comparison to any of the other Nintendo games for me. This is the best Nintendo game of the year.
Yes,
Like,
for sure.
Granted,
And it
people
got
like Xenoblade, but
I think it did get snubbed a little bit for some of the categories at the Game Awards.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, I agree 100%. And we'll talk about that once we get to our top two.
Yeah.
Could you say that it has better art design than Scorn?
See, it's weird. Like, that's a so hard thing to compare.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job with every world feeling different, and it's not your usual like. It is a little like the desert, but it's also an abandoned mall that feels like it's like an apocalyptic like setting and all that.
Granted, if we're talking art design, I mean, No, I don't think it is like so far out
No,
there. Like
it's
it's not as good as Mario Odyssey looking, but it's they didn't have that kind of budget for one.
Yeah.
I think it deserved to be in the Game of the Year nominations
Yeah.
over Stray.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go ahead and that's a good time to say that Stray did not make our list.
Yeah.
It's a fine game. It's
fine.
not a Game of the Year nominee. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Kirby should be there instead.
Well, music too, like we was talking about with the look at it. Elden Ring and Kirby was our music,
Yeah.
and I feel like it got snubbed in that category too.
I can't believe it even music.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic game. Go play it. We need another one. It would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're getting the 2D one next year, so
Yeah. I just
Hopefully
hope
they
it goes
don't
up.
fuck it up.
They're doing that Fall Guys one, ain't they? Is that out?
that's out. Yeah.
That feels like a cash in. But moving on to number 3. And I personally am very surprised with this. Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2.
Heck yeah,
Number
dude.
3. I'm very surprised. It's not on my list just because, like, I like the game. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I really like it. For me, it just didn't feel that much different from 2019. And that's the only reason it's not on my list. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I think you're not wrong. The campaign, real quick, it was fun as shit. To me, it's Call of Duty campaign.
Yeah.
It's nothing new, but it's a centerpiece. It's a action movie. It's I do love the characters in it. Ghost, Soap, Alejandro, great
Captain
characters.
Price.
Captain Price, obviously, it's fucking the shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like those characters are dope. I mean, obviously, there's some gimmicky shit like you can craft and the last level or the last worst last level in
Really?
Call of Duty.
I still haven't beat the
Didn't land
campaign.
It's just it's so
But
it does fun shit, and then at the last can I spoil it for you guys or do you want to play it? I won't.
I don't want to
I
spoil
won't
it for them in case they want to play it.
Well, anyway, it's just lackluster. It's not like it's bad. It's just like, come on, we just did some cool shit. And then, so what I really put this high on my list for was because of the multiplayer. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm 13 again.
That's how I've
Yeah.
become with Call of Duty is that, like, the game is what the multiplayer is.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer, to me, is really good in this.
Yes.
Like, I didn't put it on my list just because it didn't stick out in any specific way to me, but it is definitely as good as any Call of Duty ever.
Yes.
In terms of gameplay, it's
Yeah.
just fantastic.
And I've spent more hours on this, I think, than any game this year.
Really?
And it's
I have
because,
too.
like, it's when the other Call of Duty came out, I didn't play it much with my friends. I played with like Eric, like with y'all too.
Yeah.
But now I have like I'm in a group message with fucking 20 people.
Yeah.
And not really 20. It may be 20.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of people. And we all get on and play.
Yeah.
I think, I guess it's the same thing with me as it is with the rest of this industry, the video game journalism industry. There's something about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, as a gamer,
It's gimmicky to pick it.
right? Like it's just always kind of there. It's like picking Madden to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like this is way more creative and way more.
Madden's also an asshole.
Yeah, like they're not just phoning in. They have to create new things to keep people engaged, and they do good at that. Like
Yeah.
they are so good at what they do, but what they do is not changing enough.
Yeah, and it's not innovative, and they're not
Right.
taking risks. And what if they did go out of their comfort zone and just make a badass put all their chips on the table, put their nuts on the table, and was like, "This is the game we're going to make." Yeah. Like it could
An
be
open world Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
but they won't do that because there's not enough money in that.
Yeah, there's really not. I mean,
They already have the player
make
base. they
multiplayer.
need. Yeah.
That's all they. Yeah. I feel like I interrupted you earlier. I'm sorry.
I don't remember why. But I mean, I don't remember what I was saying.
I will say I don't like that the industry is so
sucks. I'm
anti Call of Duty because Call of Duty props up the industry in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like the money that it brings in and consoles it sells and just it allows people to do other cool things.
Yeah.
That's why Crash Bandicoot 4 happened. It's because
Yeah.
Activision was so successful. They're like, hey, we bought this company. Let's put them on Crash 4.
Yeah.
They'd made some bad decisions after that, removing them from that. But anyway, sometimes you got to have that cash cow, and it's not the worst cash cow you could have. Like they deliver.
It was on my list solely for the fun I've had in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like everything else, like I agree with everything y'all were saying as far as it being gimmicky. You know, and it's just there for the experiences I've had with it. And it's
just there's so many fun nights when I mean, I played these games when I was a kid, dude. And like seeing those memes of like, I used to talk to the old dudes on Call of Duty, and now I'm the old dude on Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's like I feel the same way because there was some kid the other day who called us old heads. Y'all need to go to bed, and I was like, motherfucker, I am tired, but don't call me an old head. I'm fucking 28.
Amazing.
He's like, y'all old heads, go to bed. He was like this little ass kid. I was like, first of all, fuck you, dude. But also,
you're right. I was about to go.
I am tired, bro. It is time for me to get tucked in.
But yeah, no, maybe it's just a matter of I haven't gotten to play as much of this as you. Yeah. Like, but I say I like it. I generally cater towards the story based stuff more so.
Yeah.
But moving on to our favorite character. You said that some of your favorite characters were in Call of Duty, and I agree.
Yes.
Who would you say is your favorite character of the year 2022?
Of the year?
Yeah, of anyone. We're not just doing new characters. We'll do of all characters.
I'll do new character. Nobody. From Nobody Saves the World.
That's a good one. That is a very diverse character.
I love that character. And like you can obviously you choose to switch to different characters, but I love that your character is a fucking nobody. It's a white squiggly guy. Like it's so fun that he's the main guy who like finds this magic book or whatever. I can't even remember what the fuck it was.
Yeah, it's
a hat. Was it a magic hat? There's I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I think it's a book.
Yeah, but it was like also it's so cool, man, because he's just nobody.
Something about him is sarcastic too.
Yeah, like, his fucking smirk, the way he's drawn, dude. They did something. There's something about him.
Yeah, they delivered a good character for sure. What'd you say?
I'm going with Thor from God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Dude, that is some of the most I've enjoyed voice acting in a game. Just his line delivery is so good, and the stuff he felt like it doesn't feel like it's like it feels out of time, like more modern. But then it's him saying it like in North. I don't know. It's just really good.
I told you one of my favorite things of all time in a video game was them fighting for the first time, and him Kratos said something about his son.
Called him weak or something.
Yeah, he called him weak, and Thor says, "The fuck you say to me?"
Yeah.
Just hearing Thor say that to Kratos was fantastic.
And then like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you get to spend more time with this character later on, and he just the back and forth is so good. Like it's so good.
Yeah. It's like that was fun. It's like it's just so cool how he talks.
Yeah.
It's really
I love his like. There's a lot of characters I could have picked from that game, but I love Thor.
If I'm giving out this award as like a certified nerdy, it's Kratos. Like, obviously it's Kratos. And right behind that would be like Kirby. Kirby's fantastic.
Kirby.
But I'm gonna think of it as like a character that really stuck out to me that wasn't in my life before this year. It's Ronnie from Elden Ring.
Ronnie, the witch.
Yeah, because the first time she shows up, I was like super creeped out by her. Like there was something creepy about her. And like as that game goes on, with very little ado, like it's not set up in this, I mean, you know how Elden Ring, most people know what Elden Ring feels like. It's not super cinematic in what it's doing. It's what you're doing. But every time you come across her, she becomes a little more comfortable to you.
Yes.
Like, and by the end of the game, like she's kind of your hero.
She's the one with the one eye and the witch's hat?
Yeah, she's got the doll. Yeah. Like, it's like a spirit coming off of her, and she's a doll. And like, she's got a lot going on. There's a lot of cool backstory.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore to her.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn about her, and like there's a whole mission, like a side mission that you can miss 20 hours of that game if you don't take on, where you're kind of her like go getter, like you and a couple of other people, and you're dealing with them. A lot of good side characters in that game, but you come to like love her almost like a leader. And well, I mean, it's been long enough now that a lot of people have finished the game, but there's an ending where you do put her in position as the new leader. And like it's like the moon ending. She calls down the moon, and I think
Majora's Mask.
That in kind of got the same vibe, but that in most people's mind is the good ending, like the positive ending. And so I think she's like the main protagonist.
So you got a bad ending on yours? Because I never beat it. But.
Not the bad ending. It's more like the neutral ending.
The ending.
Right. You get on the throne and you just lead, and the world's still what it is.
Yeah.
You're not letting the world die, and you're not propping it up for a different future. You're just kind of like maintaining it.
I do want to talk about Alejandro again, because now that I'm thinking about it, he's a cool Mexican, Spanish speaking. I love when he goes into, because he's escorting these Europeans around, like the Scottish guys and Soap and Ghost. He's like escorting them around. He's like got to speak English to them, and then he's like switching back into Spanish. He just feels like a modern day Zorro.
Yeah.
And Zorro, when growing up, was one of my favorite movies of all time. Zorro, The Mask of Zorro. So I'm just dude, he's so fucking cool. He's like a modern day Zorro. Like and like there's some moments in the story where you're like, oh shit, is he gonna be all right? Is Zorro gonna pull through? And he does. It's just so cool. I love how he's just like he's a cowboy. Really is. I mean, that's what they call themselves. Los Vaqueros or whatever, however you say it, but it's just they're cowboys.
Of you right there.
Yeah, by my grandpa.
I really need to play this campaign. Like I've heard good. I feel like the big outlets, like I said, they kind of talked it down. But I've heard from individuals that it is really good.
Like if you just got a couple hours and you want to try something new and take a break from God of War and stuff.
Another one I would say is Mimir from God of War. I don't know if he's narrated a book, but I would love to listen to. I love his storytelling and that, like the way he tells stories. I love it so much,
brother.
Yeah, it's
what are you doing, brother?
It's so good.
It's so
supposed
good.
to be Scottish?
I think so.
I
mean, they all have weird accents. Like Odin and Ryan Hurst are American.
They
have American accents.
None of them are. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I like that about it though. But moving on to our game of the year. So what we're gonna do here, instead of telling number 2 and then you know what's coming next, we're gonna what the 2 are.
Yeah,
everyone knows what the top 2 are.
Yeah.
But we're gonna announce the game of the year. So Absurdly Nerds, game of the year, Elden Ring.
Yeah, I figured it would be. I mean, it was high on my list too. It was number 2 on mine.
Number 2 on yours. All of us had these 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It just happened that me and Cole had Elden Ring at 1 and God of War Ragnarok at 2. And for me, I think what it boils down to is like God of War 2018 kind of primed me for Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I was not prepared for the magnitude of Elden Ring. I played Dark Souls 3 and I love that game, but it was nowhere near the scope of this game.
Yeah.
So just the sheer getting lost in a world like that is what stands out to me. Plus, I think the only other thing that positions it above it for me is the challenge. God of War can be difficult.
Yeah.
But Elden Ring, I always felt like it was almost like Call of Duty multiplayer whenever I was going up against these bosses. It was like this back and forth of I'm better than you type thing, but then they whip your ass and every time you come up against it, you get a little better.
Did the great thing of giving me a Breath of the Wild, like a feeling again of just being out into the world and going whichever way you want to go.
Come around a corner.
And just finding stuff that you wouldn't, you don't have to, it's not waypointing you to everything you go to. It's just like you find this cave and you go into it and it's cool as shit. And you see a unique boss and it's just you may not do it, or you may see that and somebody else sees something totally different.
Oh yeah.
Especially with the way open worlds are made nowadays, there's always a fear that open worlds are going to be empty. So a lot of developers, when they make games, I don't know if this is why they do it, but it seems to reason to me that they put a bunch of waypoints and shit to do, and there's maps just full of stuff. It's just full of stuff, and that can be great, but it's a double-edged sword. It can be fucking overwhelming. If it's
not good.
And with Elden Ring, there's shit to do. Trust me, you'll find stuff to do, but it's not in your fucking face.
Yeah,
it's not in your face.
When you find it, it's worth it. Or you just happen to come upon it, and if it wasn't worth pursuing it, was just like, oh well, that.
And honestly,
it was in the world.
God of War does that too, where there is waypoints and stuff, but it does draw you in as where you want to explore. Yeah. Like when I play an open world game, what I usually do is I mainline, and with God of War and Elden Ring, I don't want to mainline. I want to do all the side shit.
Oh yeah.
And this is a very close year. This is the closest we've had since God of War 2018 and Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, it's definitely almost exactly the same. That
it really
year
is.
I picked God of War over Red Dead. It's still, that was a toss up. It was very close. But I think what is amazing this year is I kind of started to not like open world games since Red Dead. I think because Red Dead was so good. It's funny you brought that up. And since then, nothing has really captured me like that. And Elden Ring brought me back to realizing that
yes,
at the end of the day, that is my favorite thing in a game. Whenever I get lost in a good open world.
Yeah.
And I think being in Ragnarok, great game, great cinematics, the story's amazing. The tightened down sections, I can tell they were built, and then the rest of the world isn't really there.
Yeah.
Whereas Elden Ring, everything is there. It's there. You can see it from somewhere.
And I think this is the story of the reason why Red Dead 2 was 2 and not Game of the Year in 2018 is the same reason God of War Ragnarok to me is because it was primed.
Right.
They still, in a lot of people's eyes, are better than the first. in almost every way, like storytelling, action, and boss fights, everything.
Down to everything technical.
It's just exactly. It's just, and then Elden Ring. I mean, honestly, this is one of the closest years ever. Like,
it was 1 point difference.
It was
for us. So,
and it's a tie. Like next week, I might like God of War more.
Yeah, I mean, if I was doing a 100-point scale, Elden Ring is near perfect for me. I give it like a 99. Like there's just like maybe a little tick of maybe some pacing things at some points in the story, but again, like you can kind of choose to do it how you want. And then Ragnarok is like 2 points below, like a 97.
Yeah,
like, there's some times that I get a little like with the gameplay. I'd say a detraction for me is that it does feel a little repetitive at times. They give you the ingredients to not do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the easier choice is
with
to
the combos.
Yeah. Sometimes the easier choice is just throw the Leviathan axe over and over again and
cheese
it. And I mean, that's what I do with Elden Ring, but it was kind of like Elden Ring was that hard. I had to do it.
And
like that's how I justify it.
And the only reason I had it a God of War, I like the story. I mean, it's just that's my thing.
It also is.
I give God of War points just for being so like my biggest worry was it wasn't going to feel better than 2018, and I love it. Like I love everything about Ragnarok better. Bosses, characters, like just everything feels better to me. The story I would say doesn't hit the highs.
I was going to say that so far. Okay, so I'm only halfway through it. Which I know from that much that Elden Ring was just a little better to me. Like I mean, maybe the story does wrap up in some, way ahead of it kind of way. But I'm happy with where I put it. But so far, halfway through the game, I feel like it's taking its time. Like the Ragnarok part of it doesn't feel present to me yet. And I'm halfway through the game, and I'm like, it doesn't feel as cataclysmic as I thought it was going to be. And the first one felt like the pacing to get to the midpoint of the game was like a lot more happening. But I do think everything about it is better except for the pacing.
Yeah.
I will say one thing I like about God of War is when I first played as Atreus, I did not want to play as Atreus.
Really?
I was like, I don't want to play as Atreus. I want to play as Kratos.
Oh, I was so
it's the same. It's the same way with Last of Us 2. It's the same way with Last of Us 2. But the more you play of Atreus, the more you like him because you can start seeing his. I mean, obviously he's a kid. I'm closer to being his age, but it's also like his character is badass. He's his own character. He's not just your son. He's not just Kratos' son. Like he's his own person, but that story is built as you play him, and you get stronger feelings for him. So, like, the other day I texted Eric, I was like, fucking Atreus' whiny bitch ass. And Eric was like, he's a beast, dude. And Eric had already, like, beaten the game. And I was just like,
he has an arc. That's what this game does so well, is there's such an arc.
Yes. That's another thing. I love where Kratos is at the start and at the end.
And
like,
not to spoil it, but because Merle hasn't made it as far as me, but Kratos does, like, his character arc does like a wave.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to see how
it's the throes of parenting is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I just love that
what it fucking feels
they
like.
took a character that I never thought would have emotions and made him like into this.
Except for rage.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about playing as Atreus is seeing like when you come to something you're like, oh, you can't lift that because you're not Kratos. You know, like
and I love his journal entries are also written in a different light than Kratos's.
Yeah.
Bro, I was gonna say that. One of my favorite things is so little. There's two of my favorite things from God of War. Is the little bugs everywhere. I love the bugs. I love the creatures. I love the mushroom people. I love that they're everywhere.
Every time.
I try to. And then I love that when you go to skill, like level up Loki or Atreus as like if you're playing as Kratos, so you go to level him up, it'll say Atreus can now grab people. But if you try to level Atreus up as Atreus, it says you can press L1 to grab people.
Yeah,
I just love that there's a change in like POV.
Perspective,
it's like I love that, dude. Yeah. It's such a little thing, but it means that they're paying attention. They're really telling their story because they want you to know two different characters, two different fighting styles, two different. Yes, they have similar values, but they go about it in a different way. Yeah. And they're both stubborn. They do this so well where they do parent and son. They have the same base values where they're both stubborn as fuck. And but their values are a little bit different, and they clash. It's so good. It's so good.
Well, it definitely shows you life experience because Atreus hasn't had that life experience, especially hasn't had the life experience of Kratos, where he's dealt with all this war and all this killing and everything.
Go ahead.
But I'll say, like, you said you didn't, you thought Atreus was whiny. From where I'm at in the game, I feel like he makes more sense to me than Kratos' reaction to Ragnarok.
That's how you get it, yeah.
The end of the world, Atreus is trying to stop it. I get it. And Kratos is kind of like, like, you're just going to let it happen. You and your son are a part of the world.
Yeah.
I understand he's teaching.
Well, I think also Kratos is aware that he can go to another world.
Yeah, I guess he knows they can leave.
I'm to the point where I'm trying to go back and do my side stuff in that game, but it just makes me sad that the journey's over with. I'm like, I don't want to play this. Like, it's all like, and it's going to be years before we see the next part of this.
It's going to be longer than it was between these two.
Yeah.
But I will say that Sony Santa Monica has gotten a lifetime fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's when I think of my favorite people, it's going to be Bethesda, Sony Santa Monica.
Oh, I trust them like Naughty Dog. Yeah,
and Naughty Dog. Yeah,
and I do think that Elden Ring is going to clean up a lot. I think it's going to be the same. I think God of War will win some studios.
The studio gives it to Stray. It's because they're paid by Annapurna. There's no way.
He's got a beef with Annapurna.
Yeah,
no, it's just like I think Annapurna gets like, don't get me wrong, they make artsy games. I love the games that they make, but I think they get a pass on a lot of stuff that they do. Like if Ubi was to do some shit that they do, and Ubi does, they get called out for it. But Annapurna doesn't. I mean, they're new.
Is the funding. They pick up something that looks neat to them.
Yeah.
Stray, and again, Stray is not a bad game.
No,
at all.
No, it really isn't.
The problem is
nitpicking here.
I just at times didn't really have fun. Like the gameplay stuff, the action of that game is not fun. Yeah. Running away from the little tick creatures is not fun.
Now, exploring the area that you're in is fun as shit.
Yeah, I
love the different the robots have personalities and stuff.
Talking to the robots and solving their problems. That's
bringing
cool.
the music to that one robot. Yeah, he's like plays one note at a time.
But my thing is, it could have been half the length and left out the combat.
I sped run it. I sped run it. I did a speed run. It was less than 3 hours. Whatever the trophy was. Honestly. Whatever the trophy was. Yeah,
but I mean, I enjoyed some of the stuff like laying down and playing with the ball, stuff like that.
You like laying down and playing with your balls?
Yes.
Boom!
I got goosh and scratching my post.
It got worse.
I'm glad we kind of talked about that game because it didn't need to be just completely left off.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
It's a good game.
Think it deserves. I think people like cute cats. Like give it extra credit.
Let me customize my cat next time.
Oh yeah, dude, that would be 10 times better.
But Stray 2 is probably so far away. Definitely not 2023. So, our last category, our last nerdy award,
King of Segways,
individual nerdy award, goes to the anticipated games category. Sorry, it took me a minute.
This guy drunk.
Yeah, little bit of crown. Anticipated games. What is your most anticipated game of next year? And I really have to think on this for a second. So you do not have to think about it. You go ahead and
Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. Can't wait because the first one is one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah. I think this one is going to focus more on story and have dungeons because that was the biggest feedback from the first one. And
more dungeons.
I think they will listen and put those things in. Like they had to do some changing up from Breath of the Wild to make it a better game. Yeah. Only thing I'm really worried about is I played Pokemon, which is different studios and all that. Yeah. The Nintendo is outdated with all of its stuff.
Breath of the Wild's still not outdated though.
No, it's not. I'm just worried that it's getting old. It's getting old. Yeah. Like it's time to upgrade it a little bit.
I trust Nintendo proper to do the proper thing. Yeah. Like I don't trust
that's proper 12
anymore, honestly. Like unless they go the Arceus route.
Well, and Arceus played better than the other one. I just don't.
We should have talked about that a little bit. That is a really good game.
Pokemon Legends Arceus? Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It was my number 10.
Yeah, and it was close to my list, and I'm not a Pokemon fan. That is an awesome game.
You like it?
Oh, I love that game.
I didn't know.
The vibe of that game is fantastic.
Yeah,
I think it should have looked better. For sure.
Yeah, it needs to look
ugly.
better.
But
that sucks, dude.
I love the way you feel in that game. You do feel a part of that world.
It's a better game than Violet, or which one I'm playing? I'm playing Scarlet, Pokemon Scarlet.
The only other one I played on Switch was Let's Go, and I hated it.
I loved Let's Go, but that's because I like the old story.
I think I would like Diamond and Pearl. What's your
most anticipated game? I was going to say Hogwarts, but I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to say Starfield. Yeah, Starfield. It's just honestly, it's a game that I've been waiting for years. And then I heard Todd Howard on a podcast recently, and the way he talks about it,
he's so passionate.
He really is kind of like. People give him shit for 76 and the way he always brings back Skyrim, and he's not like he's obviously not the
feels like
suave.
a shill, but it's his company. Come on,
yeah. I mean,
part of that company.
he loves games. When he talks about games, the games he designed, like
he means it.
He means it, dude.
Yeah,
he means it. It's just the way he talks. I think throws people off. It doesn't sound sincere.
Say it just works, and then they can point to all the times it didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah, really
that's true. But it's just like Starfield, man. I'm ready to be I'm tempering my expectations because I don't want Cyberpunk to ever happen to me again.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm just ready to be in this world, like how I was when I started God of War Ragnarok. I'm ready for everything to be off. I'm ready to be by myself in my house playing this game.
No, it's a fantastic pick, and so is
Hogwarts. This is what I'll say about Hogwarts.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Because they released a 40-minute video.
We watched some of it.
Yeah, not impressed.
Really?
Yeah,
I was the opposite.
I stopped after the character creation because I was like
the narration.
That's what bothered me. Yeah. Voice acting's a little weird, and I think it'll get fixed. But I think the world is amazing.
It looks cool, but I didn't get, like I said, I didn't get past the character creation because I was like, this is templates. This is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
But
I'm not as bothered by that because, like, I don't know how much you can do with character.
I'm still super hyped for it. It's one of my most hyped games of all time for reasons of me loving.
I understand what you're saying. Like, the world does look awesome. It looks authentic. The world does. The voice acting concerns me because we just came off of Gotham Knights, and that felt like a hollow, a nice world, a nice aesthetic of DC, but they didn't land it. And this feels like it could end up being that. Like, they know how to make the world look like Hogwarts.
Is it WB too?
But it doesn't feel like Hogwarts. Yes. It's not the same one. It's Portkey Games.
Yeah, Avalanche, ain't it?
Avalanche is involved. Yeah, I think they're the main ones on it.
But can you name one location from Gotham Knights that was interesting and stood out to you?
No. It ain't like... it's not like Arkham.
No, dude. There was that one. In Gotham Knights, you see the same streets over and over again because you have to drive everywhere. Yeah. And it's stupid as fuck. Fuck that game, dude. I'm with you, dude.
My number one game.
I'm gonna save it.
Is my number one game is not Gotham Knights. It is, in fact, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Oh, your most anticipated. Okay.
And I mean, it's right there with Starfield because I'm with you. Like, Bethesda has my heart. It's always had my heart.
Yes.
It's one of my childhood companies, and I know that I'm gonna love this game even if everyone else hates it.
Yeah.
Like, just because I love how Bethesda games feel. Like, I love the freedom to do what they let me do.
Yeah.
But I do think the most fun game and the game I should trust the most is Rocksteady's Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Rocksteady is a class act type of studio, and they've done nothing wrong.
They're blue
everything
chip.
they've made, yes, you can trust them. I would draft them number 1 overall.
Yeah.
Well, Naughty Dog, Rockstar.
Yeah.
Then Rocksteady.
Well, and then another studio that's got a game coming out next year, Insomniac with Spider-Man 2.
That's a good one.
Yes.
I don't think it's coming out next year. that's why I didn't even consider it.
Yeah.
And also, it's kind of that Ragnarok thing for me where I'm like, I love Spider-Man PS4. But I know what that is. I've done that, and I know this will just be a little better version of that, maybe a lot better version. But Suicide Squad, it's like, wow, what are they going to do?
Yeah, how are they
going
to...
4 characters, and it's supposedly co-op.
I'll tell you what WD would do with 4 characters.
Fucked it out. It looks like, honestly, Suicide Squad looks like Sunset Overdrive. But that's what I got from it.
Yeah. Like what I want from Suicide.
With less mobility.
From Sunset Overdrive. I think this game got like 4 times the budget of Gotham Knights. Good. There's no way that they wouldn't give Rocksteady way more money.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
Look at their Arkham games. They haven't made a bad one.
I can't wait. And I think this game is going to be super hyped up in the media because of DC's new moves, the direction they're going.
Yeah, and
Suicide Squad was... I'm super hyped because the movie was great, and now we're getting a game, and I think it's going to be great. Hopefully, it's like
the best,
Guardians.
It's the best DC universe movie.
Did you see DC?
Suicide Squad,
Did you see DC said they're going to release games that go along with their movies?
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't normally like that.
But Marvel's doing such a smart thing of not making their game universe so much different from their MCU universe, and the games don't even connect. And I love that about it.
Yeah.
An honorable mention for anticipated game, and then we'll kind of wrap up because we're going on long here. But Redfall, I feel like that's going under the radar, and I think it could be a blast for friends to play together.
Yeah.
Like, I got really hyped thinking about it the other day because the vampire aesthetic they're going with in this is like super whimsical and like it's not childish at all, but it's also like really easy,
fun.
Yeah, like,
it's fun.
It's fun, but also could be kind of creepy when you get in those dark corners. You know, like,
yeah.
It's got a nice, easy to look at.
It's kind of like a '90s Spawn.
Yeah, like that's kind of the
that's
vibe
what I
it's
feel.
going with.
Yeah, like a
it's gonna
Spawn.
have
But
those
like-
moments where it's like dark
Wacky and
kind
dark,
of satanic feeling, but you're also going to be doing goofy things.
And I love the location. It's like a New England town, kind of like.
Yeah.
I love. It's gonna be fun just to explore that area.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
it's gonna be a really good world because Deathloop sucked to me. Whatever, fuck it. The world was cool.
Yeah.
The world was cool.
Yeah, they get
Yeah,
that
the
right.
world of Deathloop is cool. I played it recently. I like it. So
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. But it's been fun, and if you stayed till the end, we love you so much. I mean, even if you didn't, you're not watching this if you didn't stay to the end, but even if you didn't, we still love you came.
We don't love those who left.
Yeah.
And they will never know.
They'll never know. Don't tell them. But thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed it, recommend us to your friends, and subscribe, and like, and all that good stuff.
all the good jazz.
We're
We're gonna have a big year next year, I think.
Oh, yeah, next year's going to
Big
be
year.
bigger.
It's gonna be fun.
This was our Inception year.
It's our starter pack year.
Yeah, this is a starter pack. You know, this is like,
It's our rookie season.
you remember
bro.
Fortnite in year 1? Not that great.
Yeah.
Year 2? That's what we're about to be.
But we were better than Fortnite.
Fortnite year 1 wasn't
Probably,
even
yeah.
a battle royale.
Yeah, we did more than
Save the world, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you next time, buddies.